Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Link Shack. So, today we're going to be talking about the indefinite habitual, or something that corresponds to should. I only say that because that is the only attested case that I could find in the grammar sketch on Mattoon, or by Mattoon. So, unfortunately, this may have other uses. It may have gotten lost in the language, or maybe people it just wasn't. It just simply wasn't picked out of the brain of the informants. So I'm not sure if this is used in any other context outside should, or maybe the new speakers, because apparently there are some new speakers. Like I know, I was in an email exchange with the language coordinator, or the language basically the language expert, the in-house language, yeah, basically like a language coordinator, language director at the Tuscarora Historical and Preservation Society, and they're also the instructor as well. So I assume that you know there are definitely people out there who have learned very well, because I know the Tuscarora Nation up in New York State, they also do something similar. They have a very intense 30-hour training program. Like when I say hour, I mean like it's more like probably like 30 hours stretched out over a few weeks, or at least, or maybe it's like 30 hours a week in a class for so long, like something like that. But it's a very intense program, and it gets them speaking Tuscarora so that they can teach at the school or speak it. So today we're just going to talk about this, and it's a limited use, but it's also a very similar construction to how the future habitual is used. So the will be doing something, the keep doing something tense. Now this one, the only difference between this tense and that future habitual tense is that the initial vowel is for the future habitual, and for the indefinite, or for saying should, you use So you just say you use plus your stem or verb root plus the serial ending, and obviously before your serial ending you would add any moods or nouns, etc. Plus the serial ending, because the ek, the distinctive feature about this specific tense with the habitual aspect is that this is going to end in ek, and it's going to start in but the ek is going to depend on the serial ending, which can generally be found in the if you have Blair Root's dictionary. The forms are usually marked with it has like a HAB to mark habitual or the serial, and then you can use that form to to get the ending that you would use for the habitual for that verb. And I'm gonna say, when in doubt, just use H and follow the phonetic rules, because some of them don't have the forms, and unfortunately, with such limited text, and such limited like running text, such limited examples, we only have a grammar and the dictionary, which is a good amount of stuff, but we don't have a lot of stuff. There's like 50 stories. That's about it. So with such a limited amount of information, you kind of have to just go with it, and kind of just have to guess on stuff whenever you're not sure. But you have all of the main rules, so you can still speak the language as authentically as possible. So with this, we can talk about this should modal. So should is generally done with with utsi, utsi. So utsi means should, and generally that's used with these with the examples we're going to be using, because utsi is the pretty much the only time where you would use this that has been documented. I chose a couple of examples here just for quick reference. So ana anahwati, so anahwati, anahwati means to search. Anawati. So if you want to say that you should search for something. Just, it could be something specific, but just to make a very short example, you should search for something. Okay, so if you were to construct that, you would obviously start with the here, and since you have since this verb ends in anawati, the ending depends on what the pronoun is going to be, pronoun subject form. So you should search something. Okay, so at the beginning, before you even construct this, the forms call for ha, which is going to mean that you're marking the focus of the sentence, kind of like the wa particle in Japanese, if you've ever studied Japanese. You could say ha, and then you put kutsi. So yes, this is ka, some kind of ka. So kutsi, and then you're going to construct your verb. So kutsi, so you should. So so in this case, we're gonna do you should. So asa on it. Asa on that. Asa on the hwati. Heck. So I'm going with her here. I'm thinking that's what the ending is. So should, marking the focus, should. The first part of this, so you to search, plus the serial ending h, plus the ending for this indefinite ek. So you should look. You should look. You should look for something. Maybe I put that here. I don't know. But this is like you should search for something. This is just more for, and I think actually search for, look for is anewatia. Now that I think about it, this is just search, or you should search. You would say anewatia, probably anewatia hek. Sawen, oh yeah, sawente. So yes, we have that. And then another example here that we'll try, we're gonna do this with. So we'll do ha kutsi. So ha kutsi. So you should lean against the chair, right? You should lean against the chair. Or actually, now to think about it, because there's a negative form here. So, and the examples they would say tet. So they would say tet. They would say tet hotnet. So tet hotnet. Te hanet. So ha kutsi te hanet. tehane, to depend on. Tehane. And then you would do your construction here. So your plus ek form. So you could say you should not lean on, right? Or he should not lean on, right? Ahra. Or ahra, ara, yeah. Ara, akar. Right, so ahra, arakar. Ara, yeah. Ara, akar. So arakar, and you might do us. So arakar, yeah. So arakar, arakarasek, right? So you should not, and this means not, and because te usually means how. So seen is used as not is interesting, but in the example that the author gave, and for using tehane in the example, it would go after this kudsi, so I should say should not. Should not. So tehane arasik. So he should not lean against the chair. And if we want to say chair, then hakutsi tahane ahra ara, yeah, ara akara his ahra akara sek, and then ha again for the ha, and then you would say utehep, utehech rakwe. So utehech rakwe. So when you see if you see the stress mark, if you see the accent, that's a stress mark. So this should be kutsi te hane, kutsi te hane. So the stress would be on the first one. Hane, kutsi te hane. And really you would just have to practice so much. And honestly, I didn't even really pay attention to the stuff because I thought the vowels are pretty similar to what I was used to in most other languages, and they are for the most part. I've been wanting to be a little bit more precise, and I wanted to verify that this is indeed the stress mark, but sometimes they can be inverted as well, so it's a little bit confusing exactly, but I'm pretty sure that's I'm not sure if there's cases where the words can have multiple of these stress marks or not. I'm not sure I've seen that, but anyway, so and then also if you wanted to say like because a'arakar means to also depend on. So if you wanted to say depend on someone, you could probably also use a'arakar sakane. So sakane. So using sakane for someone if you want to say lean on someone. But anyway, that is all I have for the indefinite habitual or should. And if you're looking for a language coach or language lessons in any language, because I can learn them quite quickly, so I can help anybody in any language, no matter how complex it is, do not look any further. I can offer you help at very affordable rates. So no matter how endangered or rare the language is, if you need to learn it for any reason or any language for any reason, definitely get in contact with me and we can come up with a plan for you. This is stuff I really enjoy doing. I do love coaching and giving lessons and doing research on stuff and learning new things. So you are interested in language lessons or any kind of work or you need resources or you need to know that you're going to be able to get fluent in some language and you just need basically like a manager, a language learning manager to make sure that you get to that, I will make sure that you get to that. I can guarantee you that I can get you there. So thank you all for watching this, and I will see y'all in the next video.